Have you ever done something very, very awkward that is just stuck for you for the rest of your life? I've done so many embarrassing things growing up, and whenever I think about it, it genuinely gives me PTSD. Fun fact, you're not alone, and today we're going to be looking at some other people who've been through very similar situations. I'm at a food truck, and this guy walks up and says, I'll have my usual. And the guy working says, I don't know who the hell you are. Oh god, that was a wee bit rude, wasn't it? I really want that type of relationship with like someone who works in like a food place. Imagine being buddies with someone, and then they like literally know like your order. I mean, obviously that person didn't. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you? 3 years ago, a cute guy I work with wanted to give me a fist bump. I thought he was pretending to hold an invisible microphone, so I leaned forward and said hello. Megan, what is going on there? Who randomly holds like a fake microphone? A fist bump is literally where you go like that, not that. Oh god, I wonder what he was thinking. He was probably thinking, what is going on with her? Like, what has she been drinking today? Screaming. Just hugged my dentist thinking he was going in for one. But really, he was just taking off my dental babe. Don't think I can ever recover from this. I've been in a very similar situation. What did I do? I can't remember what happened, but something like very embarrassing happened to me like that. Oh my god, one time I was walking to the barber, and basically I have this thing sometimes where I want to crack my knees because like they, you know, get a bit like, you know, airy. You can feel that they need a good crack. The way I crack them is basically doing a slut drop, and I was walking and I done the slut drop. Little did I know there was someone who was working in the house was right in front of me and I didn't see them. So like they literally were just staring at me and I like, oh god, I can't even talk about it. Basically they see me do a slut drop randomly in front of them. They're probably thinking what's going on with him. Like he was giving me a bit of a weird look, but maybe he liked it. Maybe he wanted me to do a slut drop on him. One time I went to hand someone a bowl of hot soup and my brain tried to say careful it's hot and here's your soup, so instead I blurted out careful it's soup. Do you want to know something? That's actually not that bad because careful it's soup can also mean that it's warm. So on a scale from 1 to 10, that's about a 3. Like that's not actually that bad. If it was me, I probably would have like thrown it over them by accident. Has it ever happened to you where you're meant to do something with one thing but then you do it with the other? About a week ago I was meaning to put something in the bin but accidentally put my phone in the bin and like held on to the thing that was meant to go in the bin. Like it's embarrassing. It's like, why does our brains fart like that? I was at the airport and the TSA agent told me to scan my license face down, but I just heard scan your face down. So I put my face in the scanner and waited. I wish this was a joke, but no, it happened and the TSA guy could not stop laughing, and now I have to go into WITSEC. What is WITSEC? I mean, something that's like America. TSA, that's like security, isn't it? I mean, I get so freaked out whenever going through security and like an airport because I always think I've got like a bomb strapped to my chest. Does it ever happen to you? So like whenever you're walking out of a shop, you think, oh my god, what happens if the alarms go off? Like, you know you haven't stolen anything, but it's like the fear in the back of your head. Went to get a haircut today. Barber, what do you do for a living? Me, I'm a writer. What about you? Barber, I'm a barber. We didn't speak for the rest of the haircut. I'm happy to announce that I shall never be interacting with another human being again. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Whenever you get your haircut or like small talk, it can sometimes get awkward. Or you're having a conversation with someone, like conversation's going really well and then it just completely dies. It's like an old person in the care home. It just automatically just randomly drops dead and it's so awkward because like, what do you do? Like, I love having conversations with people, but sometimes you can't find conversation to have a conversation about, and then you just literally sit there in silence. I work at a bank and this lady came in with a $150,000 check, and to make a conversation I was like, oh, I wish I had one of these. Then she dead ass was like, it's a life insurance check, I would rather have the person. I mean, to be fair, would you really? Let's be completely honest, it's obviously sad if someone drops dead, you know, you'll miss them, but you get a bit of a check. Who doesn't want 150 grand? You realize how much money that is? That's probably why people kill like their parents, like their family members, because if they've got a high life insurance, you know, they could be getting a pretty big check. Do you want to know something? I'm with you. I probably say the exact same thing. Hopefully that person buy themselves some manners and go to like a therapist, because apparently it seems like a bit of a meanie. The elevator doors opened up and a guy walked in the elevator. It was just me and him in there and he said, I love you. And I'm not rude, so I said, I love you too. He gave me a weird look and pointed to his Bluetooth. Oh god, so this guy obviously like headphones in. I've actually noticed that sometimes people have like these ear things. I don't know what jobs it is, but basically people can have earpieces where they like talk in and like, you know, obviously it's basically their headphones, but it's like, you know, for their work. And sometimes whenever someone's walking around talking into the earpiece, you can't really tell if they're like talking into an earpiece, so you literally think that they're like talking to you. There were so many times growing up where my dad would have one of them in and like I genuinely thought he was having a conversation with me, and it turns out he's on the phone with some random person. Did a Paxton ask me for my number while I was cashing out, and I was like, oh sorry, I'm not really interested, ha ha ha. And this man looks at me and goes, I'm meant for the rewards program. Why am I the dumbest human being alive? I mean, you're not really that dumb because most people would respond with that. If he didn't like make it out like he was talking about, you know, the number that he needs, you automatically think, oh, he's asked for my phone number. And here's a little tip, never give your phone number out because you don't know who that person could be. It could be a serial killer. My teacher gave me back some papers and I thought it said salsa, and I asked the person next to me why the person wrote salsa on my paper, and then the person next to me was like, it says 59 out of 59, not salsa. I'm so effing dumb. I mean, it kind of does look like salsa, doesn't it? I don't understand why teachers write like that. Surely if you're gonna do numbers like that, you'd like space them out or make it not look like a word. But you got 59 out of 59, so apparently you got like 100%. in. You're obviously not that dumb. I blanked when I got to the counter at Starbucks and said vodka soda. And she was like, huh? And I said, huh? And then we stared at each other until I remembered I was there for coffee. That is why you have to prepare whenever it comes to ordering stuff like that. Me personally, if I'm going to order something or even talk to someone in the shop, like I have to prepare it in my head. It really is like going into an exam. Like you have to revise, prepare, have a good night's sleep beforehand to go and talk to someone. And that's what it's like, the struggle with social anxiety and the daily and being an introvert. Like sometimes it's really tough. Okay, so this person put the Snapchat story up on their story, basically saying finally bringing you home buzz. And obviously Uno is like an animal, probably like a cat or a dog. But somebody swiped up and said, damn, we need to play. This is literally my dog, my dead dog. I mean, Uno's definitely a unique name for a dog. It does sound like a game. What is a dog name to you? For me, dogs are always called Bella or like Simon. I feel like Bella and Simon shouldn't be human names. It's like a dog name. Like every single time I come across a dog, it's always called Simon or Bella. Like humans shouldn't be called that. But to be fair to that guy, you know, it does kind of look like a game. And he probably didn't read the caption, which he probably should have. But I mean, the animal's dead. You can't really do anything, can you? I guess you just gotta laugh it off. Meant to say hold on for a second and give me a minute to a customer, and it came out as hold me for a second. What a Monday. I mean, that really is a Monday thing to say. Hold me for a second. I wonder what the customer was thinking. The customer's probably thinking, oh my god, this worker is such a freak. I bet you also give like that really concerned look. Do you ever like say something and like it comes out but it doesn't come out correctly, and like you literally look at the person like, oh my god, like, oh, did they notice? He defo gave one of them looks. I once walked into Subway and asked for a meatball feet long. Said crap directly afterwards, then walked out. I can never go back. Yet again, messing up your words is one of the worst things ever, because it always happens to me. Obviously, I'm Northern Irish. My accent is very weird. It's not like the typical Northern Irish accent. For some reason, I can't speak English. It's like in my head, I speak very, very well, but whenever the words actually come out, I always mess them up. I feel like I definitely need to go to a speech person, like learn how to talk. Or maybe I need to like read books. Would that help? Because like I'm telling you, my vocabulary is crap, and honestly, that would happen to me. Meatball feet long. Now that is something I would say. I had to go to a library to pay a fee, and I was practicing in the car between I have to pay a fine and I have to pay a fee, and I walked in and firmly stated I have to pay, and slapped a $5 bill in the counter. The fee was like 10 cents, and walked out. This was like 4 years ago and I still haven't been back. Yeah, you can't really go back, can you? Because that person might recognize you. Yet again, that person was practicing it in the car and they still messed it up. It's so scary, like it's proper intimidating. That's why I could never work face to face with people. I feel like if I were to get a job like that, I'd love to be in the back. Like I would thrive so well. I kind of like not being seen out in the world. I kind of like being a bit of like a rat, where it's like you only see me once so often. I mean, I don't even leave the house. I'm basically a couch potato. Today at work, I let someone into a dressing room and they said thanks, and half of me tried to say you're welcome and the other half tried to say no problem, and I ended up saying you're a problem. I mean, yet again, just look at each other, just give them a blank stare, or do you want to do something? Don't even look at them, just turn around and walk. I am so good whenever it comes to like ignoring people and avoiding eye contact. If I don't need to look at you, I would just look completely forward. I won't look at anyone. I'll completely blank them out. Because like think of it, if you make eye contact with someone, that kind of like gives them a reason, like, you know, respond back. And if you mess up like that, oh god, it is embarrassing. At Dick's, it is a habit of mine to ask customers if they want their items in a bag after they check out. Today a woman came up to the register with 2 kayaks to buy. After ringing them up, I looked her dead in the eye and said, would you like these in a bag? I mean, can you put kayaks in a bag? Think of it, they're very, very big. What's that thing you can wrap Christmas trees up? I've seen videos where people like get their Christmas tree and they wrap it up in like a big plastic wrapping. It's kind of like bubble wrap, but like for a Christmas tree. I guess you could probably wrap a kayak in them. If you were to order a kayak online, would it arrive in like a box? Would it be like Amazon? I mean, there's a thing for everything out in the world, so there probably is like a bag for kayaks. I ordered 1 large pizza, and when it came, I don't know if it was a joke, but literally nothing on it. Just the crust, no sauce, cheese, toppings, nothing. Jesse, we would like to hear more about this order. Please contact us. My bad, fam. I was just high and opened the pizza upside down. I mean, that's a bit startling. Imagine what the pizza company were thinking. Oh my god, they got a pizza with nothing on it. Yet again, a lot of people smoke. I personally don't. I don't see need in it. Imagine me smoking. Like, imagine me smoking and drinking. Now, that is something we do not need. Just finished an NCAA drug test. I asked Mr. PP Watcher what the largest willy he had seen at his job. He looked me up and down and said, a lot bigger than that. I did not wake up at 5 a.m. just to be humiliated like this. I mean, first of all, why would you ask him that question? Is that a job? I would never do that. Imagine being paid to watch people pee. I mean, a lot of gay people probably like that, but me personally, nah. And why would you ask that question? Like, you're setting yourself up to be humiliated. I bet you he felt so good telling you your willy was small as well. Like, I bet you that made his day. Yesterday at Target, the cashier said the receipt is in the bag, and I responded with you too. So I've been dealing with that for the past 18 hours, but I'm slowly coming to terms with it, which is cool. Yeah, whenever something like that happens, it does take you a while to get over it because you just constantly think about it. I mean, they probably forget about it, don't really care. They're probably used to people messing up. But if you say it, like, you remember it, it's quite traumatic. You genuinely do get a bit freaked out. You're like, oh my god, and you like overthink it. And that's another another reason I don't leave my house. I overthink and procrastinate a lot. It's not healthy. Just been down to Tesco getting a sandwich and some crisps, and a lad at the checkout asked if I wanted to go for a drink. I told him I've got a fella, so I was flattered that I couldn't. He said no, it's part of the meal deal, never leaving the effing house again. Yet again, that would just happen to me, and that's why I don't leave the house full stop. I mean, I do leave the house. I go out for walks, and I go out to the shops, and I get my hair cut. But you know, stuff like that, like, nah, that would actually ruin me. Just because it's so freaky, like, it's traumatizing. You honestly would suffer from PTSD. Like, I'm telling you right now, if that there happened to you, you would cry yourself to sleep. I seriously need a job where I don't have to interact with people. I just asked the table if they were celebrating anything, and when they said their dad's B-day, I brought them a B-day table decoration, and then they decided to tell me he's not coming because he's dead. Do you want to know something, Rachel? I'm on your side. That's actually not that bad. They told you that they're celebrating their dad's B-day, so whenever you brought something birthday-wise down, they then told you that he was dead. They could have just said her dead dad's birthday. So do you want to know something, Rachel? I'm with you. And if you want a job where you don't have to interact with people, do YouTube. Literally, this is me. I sit in my room, make my videos, and then I go to sleep. And I don't have to talk to anyone. It's amazing. My BF met my family for the first time, and we were playing catchphrases. And his word was boner. Instead of skipping it like a normal person, he said something that Bridget gives me right in front of my father. Your dad's either going to react in two ways. He's going to laugh at it, or he's going to give that guy a black eye. Oh my god, that's awful. In front of the family as well. And meeting them for the first time. I mean, meeting someone's family is actually traumatizing and terrifying. You don't know if they're going to like you. You don't know if they're going to be judgmental. And you certainly don't want to do it that boyfriend done. So I meant to say, oh crap, I left my phone in the car. But what I almost said was, oh no, I left my cone in the far. And damn, wouldn't that have been embarrassing? But I caught myself, and what I actually said was, my fart cone. So anyways, yeah, again, that's why I don't talk to people, and that's why I don't talk. I need to get a speech therapist. Because, like, I don't know if it's like an illness in my head, but sometimes I genuinely do think that, like, I've got worms in my brain. Everyone can relate to, you know, you're gonna say something, and then it just doesn't come out the way you intended it, and it's like, you don't know why. It's like a connection that just, like, completely blocked off what you were saying. In your brain, it's fine. It's coming up out your mouth, and then whenever it actually comes out, it just doesn't make any sense. I'm relating to a lot of these, and it's getting a bit embarrassing now. When I was out walking the dog, I noticed a neighbour waving at me through their living room window. How nice. So I waved back rather enthusiastically. She was washing her window. Yet again, that would happen to me. I actually do have a neighbour across the road who's quite old and a bit like schizophrenic. Sometimes like she'll open her window and just like stare over at our house. If I open my window, it's between like the time of 2 to 5, she'll most likely be looking at my house. And like sometimes I've like waved at her, but like she obviously can't see us. It's like she is ill. And it's like freaky. It's like, oh, imagine if she like waved back and like then like murder my family. In college, I went to a therapist for the first time, and he asked me to tell him about my childhood. I got to that, and then my parents got a divorce, and he nodded writing in his notebook and echoed, your parents got you a horse. I felt so bad, but I couldn't stop laughing for 10 minutes. Do you want to know something? Even though that was crap, it probably made your day. That's why I always tell people with trauma, you know, if you ever are going for like a hard time or like a bad situations happen, make a joke out of it. It can be a really bad joke, but if it makes you laugh, I guess I'll sort of help you. Well, anyways, guys, that's some awkwardness. We've all been there, we've all done it, and we're all gonna do it again. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, press bigger, subscribe, and then see you all tomorrow for another video.